A big move in the battle between the city and the province over speed enforcement cameras. Just moments ago, Premier Ford announcing a ban on the devices in Ontario. Good afternoon. They have become a divisive topic. Premier Ford calling them a tax grab.
The Premier promising to table legislation to axe the speed cameras altogether in Ontario. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris is standing by with the latest today. Siobhan.
Well, the Premier says this is necessary to stop municipalities from gouging people who are going as few as just a few kilometers over the posted speed limit. He had support from a few mayors, of course the mayor of Vaughan that paused their speed camera program a few weeks ago. Also the mayors of Kitchener and Barrie, they said that this is really a program that can be a tax grab by stealth, and so they're supportive of ending it. We also saw some support from the Association of Police of Ontario. Of course, you'll remember that the chiefs of Ontario Police, they have said that this is a mistake. Moving away from the use of automated speed cameras, they believe will put pedestrians at risk. Back in the spring, the Premier said that he was willing to, in his spring budget, take a look at speed cameras. He wanted to make sure that municipalities were properly signing these zones where cameras were, making sure that people understood that they could be ticketed, could be fined. Rather than go that direction, a few months later, he's decided to outlaw them altogether. Here's what he had to say about that change of heart.
Because enough's enough. We know what this is all about. If you really want to slow people down, speed cameras do not slow people down. Now, who it slows down are the people in the community that knows where the speed cameras are, but the thousands and thousands of other cars that go through, they don't slow down. We want to make sure that we put in certain areas, certain measures that will calm the traffic down. Because I'll tell you, if you don't know where that speed camera is, you're zipping by. But if you have a speed bump, you aren't zipping by at all. Or if you have a roundabout, you aren't zipping by. And the warning with the flashing signs coming at you, you know to slow down.
So that legislation will be introduced when the House reconvenes in October 20th. The more immediate changes you will see once that legislation is passed is municipalities are going to be forced to put up big signs talking about the speed limit in an area close to schools. Those signs have to be in place by mid-November. By September next year, those same municipalities in those school zones will be required to set up flashing lights. The Premier had talked earlier this week about promising a big chunk of money for municipalities to help with traffic calming features like roundabouts and speed bumps. He is promising that money, creation of a new fund, but there's no dollar amount attached to it right now. Big question for many people who don't have a paid ticket yet, who have been nabbed by those cameras. Will they be forgiven? The Premier says that'll be up to individual municipalities. Reporting live from Vaughan, I'm Siobhan Morris. Back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. A pedestrian is dead after being hit by a vehicle in Brampton. The crash happening in the McLaughlin Road and Steeles Avenue area at 1 a.m. Police say the pedestrian was taken to hospital in critical condition, but did not survive. The driver remained at the scene. No word at this point if charges will be laid. Peel Police's Major Collision Bureau is investigating. Toronto police, meantime, are investigating an apparent hit and run downtown. Police say a pedestrian was struck in the Queen and Church area shortly before 7 this morning. The vehicle did not remain at the scene. It's described as a black pickup truck. A woman in her 60s was taken to hospital. At this point, it's not clear how seriously she was hurt. Roads have now reopened.
More news in a moment, but first, here's a live look at the city this afternoon. A bit of drizzle out there this hour after a lot of rain this morning. Lindsay Morrison is here with a look at the current conditions. Lindsay.
Yeah, Natalie, it is still quite drizzly out there. Unsettled through the early part of this afternoon, but I will say the heaviest rain is now finished, and we are in for a big weather pattern change starting tomorrow. But you've got some steadier rain right now in places like Scarborough, Markham, north toward the Newmarket area. I'll widen things out to show you also a bit of embedded thunderstorm activity east of Georgian Bay and in through portions of Muskoka. Winds are pretty light today, and I should mention that that wet weather isn't moving all that quickly, so could be dealing with this for another couple of hours. It is 19 degrees in the city of Toronto, but it feels more like 25. Once again, we're going to hold on to the chance of showers and the risk of a thunderstorm through this afternoon. Going to feel like 27 at the height of the day, and in through this weekend, at times, it's going to feel close to 30. So we'll talk about the change in weather pattern that's coming starting tomorrow. That's coming up. For now, Michelle, I'll send it over to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. 7 people from the GTA are facing charges after the RCMP says it dismantled a sophisticated dark web drug trafficking network.
The mounted unit calls it one of the largest known drug trafficking operations on the dark web in Canadian history. CTV's John Musselman is live at the RCMP Toronto Airport Detachment with the details. John.
Well, Natalie, we're still trying to piece together exactly what's happening here. We can tell you, though, this all began in Germany when there was a takedown of an marketplace with links to Canada. We'll show you some video now. What RCMP are telling us that there was a group operating in Toronto that was going under the name Roadrunner, and it was shipping 400 illegal packages across the country every day. And inside these packages were illicit drugs, ketamine, methamphetamine, and cocaine. Also, a lot of pills, prescription pills, were being shipped across the country. Now, the RCMP says they were using the dark web. Now, this is a way that they can hide their identity using specific software that can't be monitored, and that's how they were doing this. 7 people, as you mentioned, across the GTA have been arrested and charged in connection with this case, facing charges of drug trafficking, multiple charges. We'll try to have more information on this as well. We've reached out to the RCMP, and we'll have much more on this story tonight on CTV News at 5 and 6. Reporting live, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. Police are investigating a shooting in Scarborough overnight. This happened just before 10 near Shepherd Avenue and Brimley Road. The victim, a man in his 40s, was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries. At this time, police have not released any information about potential suspects. Anyone who might have some information to share is urged to come forward.
Niagara Regional Police are investigating a shooting in Grimsby that left 1 person wounded. Emergency crews were called to an area on South Service Road near the Stony Creek border around 7:45 last night. They found a victim who was taken to a trauma center with serious injuries. The suspect was last seen on foot, but investigators say the only description they have is of a male who was wearing dark clothing. Anyone with information is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers. Meantime, 3 youths were arrested at the scene of a dramatic collision in the Sherbourne and Carleton area last night. It happened just after 10:30 p.m. Police say officers nearby received an alert from the automated license plate recognition system on a vehicle that was listed as stolen. That vehicle was then involved in a collision, causing it to flip over. All 3 occupants were arrested at the scene. 5 people were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
York Memorial Collegiate is closed today due to a gas leak. The call came in just before 9 this morning, causing the school at Keele Street and Rogers Road to be evacuated. No injuries were reported. Officials closed the school for the day, and the TDSB says as a precaution, students have transitioned to virtual learning for the day.
The Prime Minister is the target of an alleged privacy breach by an employee of Canada's largest bank.
The RCMP have charged a 23-year-old man with 4 charges, including fraud and identity theft. CTV's Abigail Beeman has those details.
It all started in July with a tip-off complaint from RBC to the Mounties. Police accused then-bank employee Ibrahim El Hakim of accessing, among other things, Prime Minister Mark Carney's personal data. The 23-year-old faces 4 charges: fraud over $5,000, unauthorized use of computer, identity theft, and trafficking in identity information. RCMP won't say if they believe the suspect is linked to organized crime.
This is the Prime Minister's financial information. And what I gather from this is that this is clearly information that could be potentially leveraged by what we call a threat actor.
The case is being handled by the RCMP's Integrated National Security Enforcement Team, but they note there is no threat to the Prime Minister's safety or national security. For its part, RBC says it independently identified unauthorized system access, took immediate action to engage authorities, and El Hakim is no longer employed at the bank. The bank didn't answer CTV News questions about whether high-profile client accounts are given more protection than average Canadians.
It applies to all Canadians, so it just reminds everyone that, privacy and having system to prevent, fraudulent access to anyone's file is something that we should all be concerned about.
I'm not aware of those details, actually. Yeah, but that would worry me. Yeah.
The suspect has another court appearance here in Ottawa next week. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The union representing striking college support staff is getting ready to return to the bargaining table. OPSEU says negotiations with the College Employer Council will resume tomorrow with the assistance of a mediator. Thousands of workers walked off the job earlier this month after failing to reach a new contract agreement. They are seeking better wages and benefits, but the union says job security is its top priority. The College Employer Council claims meeting the demands would expose schools to more than $900 million in additional costs.
Avi Lewis officially launched his campaign for the federal NDP leadership in Toronto last night. Lewis is promising to fling the doors of the NDP wide open and build a party for the 99%. He took aim at both the Liberals and Conservatives, referring to their, quote, alliance and accusing them of colluding to boost corporate profits.
This is comeback time, right? We're at the bottom of the cycle. But do we want to be a two-party system like the United States? I mean, this is sort of how Trump emerged, right? You get two parties. They're kind of Tweedledum and Tweedledee, a bit the same in the policies. People start suffering. They can't pay for their groceries. They can't pay for their rent. That's where the far right rises. And I don't think Canadians want that. So I think we're going to see, like right now, Carney and Poilievre, they're kind of like the Loblaws and Sobeys of Canadian politics, you know? They look like they're competing on the outside, but on the inside, they're approving huge military increases. They're doing these major projects, sweeping aside Indigenous rights and environmental protection. So we need an alternative.
According to the Elections Canada website, Alberta MP Heather McPherson and International Longshore and Warehouse Union President Rob Ashton have also registered as candidates in the race, though neither has made an official announcement.
Canada's budget watchdog is out with a new report saying he expects the upcoming fall budget to reveal a sharp increase to the annual deficit. Interim Parliamentary Budget Officer Jason Jacques says the deficit is likely to rise to $68.5 billion this year, up from $51.7 billion last year. Today's report acts as a baseline estimate of the government's finances ahead of the Liberals' fall budget, expected on November 4th. And for more on this, let's bring in CTV's Kimmel, who's been pouring through the numbers. Kimmel, what are the biggest takeaways here, other than what we just mentioned, or maybe what we just mentioned?
That's right. That is the biggest takeaway, and a big jaw-dropping number, roughly $17 billion in a year-over-year deficit increase, as you mentioned, going from $51.7 billion last year up to $68.5 billion is now what Ottawa's annual deficit is showing, and it's a sharp rise from what the Carney government had promised back in April when they said there would be a budget deficit of just over $62 billion. Now it's looking like it's going to be over 68. This is all in preparation and in the lead up to the Liberals' fall budget set to be released November 4th. So just over a month away, we're getting a good snapshot of how much spending the federal government has in store. And so what is factored into this deficit? What's causing it to climb? Well, it includes a chunk of the $115 billion in new net spending over the next 5 years promised by the Liberal government since last year's fiscal update, and much of it going to Canada's industries to make them more sustainable without the U.S.'s help. The PBO says the economy being weakened by Canada's trade war with the U.S. is dragging down Ottawa's tax revenue and pushing deficits higher as the Liberals ramp up capital spending. What is worth noting is not included in this, Michelle and Natalie, is that the increased NATO spending that is set to go up to about 5% of Canada's GDP by 2035. That is not included in this yet, so we may see a little bit more of an increase by the time November 4th rolls around.
Numbers aren't always set in stone, but they are big numbers here. What's the reaction been?
Yeah, we've heard from Finance Minister Francois Philippe Champagne, who has said that this is a direct result of the trade war, that they are reinvesting much of their money back into Canada and its industries, and it is going to take some time and take some more expenditures before we see the payoff in investing in Canada. And we haven't heard from the opposition party just yet, but we have heard from Pierre Poilievre earlier this month, who accused the federal government of running deficits to fuel inflation, saying deficits drive up inflation, grocery prices, housing costs, and interest rates. But we've also heard from economists, Michelle and Natalie, saying that this spending is good, especially at a time when we've lost so much business to the United States. So overall, saying that although this is a pretty big number, $68.5 billion deficit by November 4th, that the payoff is going to be that we see a lot of return down the road in the years ahead. Back over to you.
CTV's Kimmel Karamali live for us in the National Newsroom. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Meantime, Canada's Prime Minister welcomed his Irish counterpart, Michael Martin, to Ottawa this morning for bilateral talks.
This is one of our strongest relationships, culturally, economically, with respect to shared values in foreign policy. There's many illustrations of that. Over 800 Irish companies in Canada. Our trade has doubled since the signing of the CETA agreement between Canada and the European Union. We share values in terms of peacekeeping, activities internationally.
The meeting took place before Carney leaves for the UK this afternoon. The PM is traveling to London for the next few days. Canadian officials say the visit is intended to enhance our international ties amidst the U.S. trade war. Carney due to have discussions with Prime Minister Keir Starmer, as well as his counterparts from Iceland, Australia, Spain, and Denmark.
In New York, Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas addressed the UN General Assembly today.
With wide-scale international presence and united positions that expressed a genuine international will to put an end to this historic conflict by recognizing the state of Palestine, ending the occupation, and returning hope to both the Palestinian and Israeli people.
Abbas spoke via video link after the U.S. revoked his visa. The Palestinian leader told world leaders that his people reject the 2023 Hamas attack on Israel and pledged that the group would have no role in governing the Gaza Strip after the war ends. He also said that Palestinians in Gaza have been facing a war of genocide, destruction, starvation, and displacement by Israel. Abbas also spoke about his vision for a Palestinian state in the West Bank and Gaza alongside Israel.
Denmark says overnight drone incursions that briefly closed 2 airports and affected military installations were hybrid attacks intended to spread fear. The incident was the second in 2 days in the country and is seen as part of what some European officials view as a pattern of Russian disruption that has exposed the vulnerability of European airspace. Danish have not identified the perpetrators, but Latvia's foreign minister says Denmark has informed its allies the drone incursions are linked to state actors. The Danish government has spoken to the NATO Secretary General, agreeing they should work together to ensure security. Lindsay.
So we've had a lot of rain this week, and coming up, we're going to bring you up to speed on just how much there has been so far in September in the city of Toronto. But let's bring you first up to speed on what's happening in the tropics. Yesterday, the National Hurricane Center naming Umberto the latest tropical storm. It is still a bit disorganized, but it is expected to strengthen. And right now, it's tracking northwest and north, and that could eventually impact coastal portions of North America. There's also Hurricane Gabrielle, which is going to impact the Azores tonight with hurricane conditions, and then eventually impact coastal Portugal. Coming up, we'll take your weather story a little closer to home once again and talk about the weekend. Are you ready for some sunshine and some warm temperatures? All those details after this.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
We are expecting to hear from the government on the future of Canada Post later this hour. The announcement coming after months of labour uncertainty between the Crown Corporation and the union representing its workers and mounting financial losses for the organization. Let's bring in CTV's Rachel Aiello live in the nation's capital for more on this. Rachel, what are we anticipating to hear this afternoon?
Yeah, good afternoon. So we are expecting to hear from the minister responsible for Canada Post in the next 25 minutes or so. Joel Lightbound, the Minister for Government Transformation, Public Works and Procurement, is going to be unveiling a series of new measures that the government says are going to be aimed at addressing the ongoing challenges Canada Post is facing, and also ways to accelerate its transformation in an effort to try to get the embattled Crown Corporation essentially back up on its feet and to a place where it can continue to deliver the services like postal delivery that Canadians have relied on for generations. We are expecting to hear from the minister about what exactly that looks like and how soon we can expect these new measures to come into effect. All of this, as you rightly pointed out, coming amid ongoing uncertainty about where things stand between the union and Canada Post.
As these contract negotiations continue with its 55,000 workers, what are some of the challenges facing the post office right now?
Yeah, so it has been well documented that year over year, Canada Post has been losing millions of dollars. And this is really kind of a two-edged sword for this Crown Corporation, because on one hand, it has been losing money. But then when we saw the labor negotiations essentially devolve late last year, resulting in that lockout and strike, a lot of Canadians started to shift their habits. They are going to other postal carriers to deliver their parcels because they are not confident that another strike could come and delay the deliveries of their packages. So that is kind of compounding the challenges Canada Post is facing, already financially dire, and then Canadians are shifting their behaviors, which is then not allowing the Crown Corporation to come to the union with a bargaining chip, with a proposal that the union so far has been able to find suitable. So this uncertainty continues, the ongoing back and forth. Still no sense of a deal between the two, but I think it'll be really interesting to watch in the next hour or so how the union reacts should these measures that the Canadian government is bringing forward now kind of shift their stance at the bargaining table, shift the way that those postal workers do their jobs, and how could that change the talks that are ongoing.
Okay, we'll be watching. CTV's Rachel Ayala reporting live for us in Ottawa. Thank you.
Thanks.
And as we turn our attention outside, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that postal carriers, like many of us, are just over the rain this week. We've had so much of it. And even today, I'm like, more? We've had too much.
I was saying to Lindsay earlier that we're going to be doing apple picking this coming weekend. And I've been watching this rain all week long, just every single day. But it looks like there is sunshine in sight.
It's looking great, just for you, Natalie, and for all the viewers who are hoping to get out and enjoy some fall activities. Because, yeah, this week hasn't exactly been great for that. We've needed some rain. It was very dry out there before all the wet weather began on Sunday night and Monday. But yes, we've had a lot of it, and we're ready for a change. A change is coming, and it's just in time for the weekend. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm. Injury lawyers you don't pay unless they win. This latest disturbance is actually a very slow-moving one, so much so that there's been some flooding in some areas. This video is from extreme southwestern Ontario in a community called Harrow. And this is where not only has there been on-road flooding, but also some erosion. This is close to the shoreline of Lake Erie, and several communities in Essex County dealing with similar situations yesterday, some backyard flooding as well. Let's talk about how much rain we've now had here in the city of Toronto. At Pearson Airport on Tuesday, we picked up close to 40 millimeters of rain. So we're now at more than 100 millimeters for the month, and that does not include today. So that number is going to go up. It's more rain than we had seen at this point in September last year, and it is well above the monthly average of 74 millimeters of rain. This disturbance today, it is slow moving, so you're likely to continue to experience a little bit of drizzle at the very least out there. The very worst, some moderate rainfall, but again, the heaviest rain is now behind us. We are saying goodbye to this area of low pressure. And by tomorrow, we're going to be back into some sunshine. And that sunshine, that sunny trend is going to be sticking around beyond the weekend, in fact. So we'll show you in just a moment. Here's later on today, still the chance of spotty showers, maybe an isolated thunder shower. And then we're going to dry out into tomorrow. Mix of sun and cloud for your Friday, and then mainly sunny skies heading into Saturday, Sunday, and beyond that too. So temperature-wise, this is another big part of our weather story. It has been very humid humid, a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. 20 degrees right now in Toronto, feels more like 25. And at the height of the day, we expect to be somewhere around 22 degrees with a humidex of 27. This is above normal, so our seasonal norm is now about 18 degrees. Keep that in mind as I talk about your weekend forecast. But first, overnight tonight, 14 is what we are anticipating. That's cooler than the last several nights. Apple picking forecast for tomorrow looks good. Mainly sunny skies, bit of a northwest wind. Look at the temperature, though. 24 degrees, humidex 28. It's going to get warmer than that, especially for Sunday. There's tomorrow's highs right around the Golden Horseshoe with that sunshine. Let's talk about the next 7 days. I want to bring your attention to Sunday. 26 degrees, feeling like 30. And the sunshine continues right through the middle of next week. Although notice Wednesday, we're back to seasonal with a forecast daytime high in the teens. That's your forecast for now. Michelle, I'll send it over to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. A world-renowned Baroque orchestra based in Toronto is gearing up to launch its new season. CTV's Jessica Smith is live now with a preview of what's in store. Hey, Jess.
Hey, Michelle, it is fabulous. Like, being here in person and hearing this music in real life is wonderful, and it all begins this weekend. I'm joined by a guest director and violinist herself, Rachel Podger. Talk to me about the show people are going to experience beginning this weekend.
Yes, so we've got two symphonies, one by Mozart and one by Schubert. The Mozart is the Symphony number 40, and it's one of the most dramatic. You're hearing it right now. Hear those horns, those amazing calls, a lot of drama, and also so much beauty. And the Schubert is really charming. Schubert was only 19 when he wrote his symphony. So precocious and so beautiful, so charming and so uplifting.
It really is, and you're listening to all the musicians. There's so many on stage. This is the rehearsal space, but tell me where the show is actually taking place.
So we're going to be in Kerner Hall in Toronto, and we're going to play tomorrow night, that's Friday, and Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. And if you'd like tickets, all you need is very easy. You need to go to tafelmusik.org and find your ticket.
Talk to me about the musicians, because there's such a beautiful group on stage. Are they all local? Where do they come from?
So a lot of the musicians here are from Toronto, your very own. I'm obviously not, as you can tell from my accent. So I'm from the UK, and I come here about three times a year, which is a real joy.
Well, thank you so much. We're going to listen in live. We're going to send it back to the studio. This is incredible. This weekend.
Thank you. You're brilliant.
Thank you, Jess. Returning now to our top story, the Premier's plans to ban speed enforcement cameras in this province. Mayor Olivia Chow is reacting right now at Toronto City Hall. Let's listen in.
Cameras work. They help save lives, and we know speeding kills. Today, the province announced that they are banning one of the most effective tools we have to slow drivers down and keep people safe. I think this is a wrong decision. It signals to people that the provincial government is okay with speeding. It will mean our roads are less safe. The fines from people illegally speeding go towards keeping people safe. 18 police officers on road safety programs are funded through the fines. 11 million to support victims of crime like Holly Roy and others through the Provincial Victim Justice Fund. It goes to counseling to these mothers that experience tremendous trauma. It's the victim services. Also, the rest goes to invest in traffic lights, crosswalks, and devices you saw during the provincial announcements. Instead of using money from speeders breaking the law, the province wants you, the law-abiding citizens, your tax dollars to pay for road safety, and I do not believe that is fair. If you follow the rules of the road now, you are going to pay instead of people that are breaking the law. The facts are clear. We know cameras work to slow drivers down. Sick Kids research has found that the cameras reduce speed in school zones by 45%. And it saved lives because if you're hit by a car traveling over 50K, there's a 85% chance of death. Tomorrow, I will be introducing a series of recommendations to strengthen Toronto's automated speed enforcement, the ASE programs. Actions like bigger signage and creating a grace period from receiving your first ticket so that it will actually arrive in the mail before you get a second one. I'll be asking staff to inform the local neighborhoods that their camera is being taken away by the province and they should call the MPP if they are not so happy with this decision. My message is simple. Don't speed and you won't get a ticket. Thank you, and I'll take questions you may have.
We've seen with the bike lanes that the Premier is going to do what he wants anyway. What makes you think your motion is going to change his mind in a couple months?
And that is Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow reacting at City Hall to the Premier's
matter.
plan to ban speed enforcement cameras in Ontario.
The people.
A new survey suggests first-time home buyers are taking a wait-and-see approach to their purchase plans. 13% of Canadian adults are working toward their first residential purchase in the next 2 years, according to the Royal LePage survey. More than half of first-time buyers say they are researching neighborhoods where they can afford to live, but less than 20% have engaged a real estate agent or are actively viewing homes for sale in person. Factors include the economic uncertainty, a softening housing market, and declining interest rates.
Air Canada is out with an estimate of how much this summer's flight attendant strike cost the company. The airline puts the figure at about $375 million. Air Canada says it now expects to make around $3 billion in earnings for the full year before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Projections of up to $3.6 billion were made in August. The airline says refunds, customer compensation, lower travel bookings, and an increase in operating costs all affected the bottom line. We're going to take a short break. We'll have much more CTV News at noon when we return. In the second night back from suspension, Jimmy Kimmel spent part of last night's monologue responding to a tweet from U.S. President Donald Trump critical of his show.
I did hear from one very special friend. Moments after we taped our show last night, the Mad Red Hatter wrote, "I can't believe ABC Fake News gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back." You can't believe they gave me my job back. I can't believe we gave you your job back.
In the return show, Jimmy Kimmel Live averaged 6.3 million viewers on traditional television, more than 3 times the show's typical TV viewership. His monologue from that return show also racked up almost 20 million views, making it his most viewed monologue of all time on the platform. Kimmel says his show is still off the air for around 30 ABC affiliates. Next to a story about the power of song and helping young people find their rhythm.
A community singing program across the GTA is boosting the confidence of a choir of kids without missing a beat. In this community center classroom, this singing session for kids is hitting all the right notes.
Just such a cool environment to be in to sing. I like to perform. It makes me feel carefree.
The I Love to Sing vocal arts and performance program is a free drop-in for youth in underserved communities across the GTA, offering opportunity for artistic expression that for many kids can be key.
It's more than just a singing program. It's really an encouragement to the individual to express themselves, develop community, develop self-confidence.
As we praise your holy name.
Taught by teachers like recording artist Latoya Hall-Downer,
You deserve the glory.
who is now a musical mentor to these rising stars.
They're going to sing anyway, but just to guide them in a way where they can now be more intentional about what they're doing. They get comfortable and they showcase talent that is just out of this world.
Shantice Henry is a pitch-perfect example. She discovered the I Love to Sing program as a teenager and is now giving back as an instructor.
Someone like me who's very shy sometimes, and I have talents that I want to be able to showcase to the world, and I think singing really helped bring that out in me.
Some of the current students will tell you their own confidence has come a long way too.
Because I was a little scared, and then once I met everyone, I felt way better.
While others admit they were born ready for the stage.
I've performed a lot, so my whole life.
My brain just logs every lyric.
I sing a lot at home in the car.
This is a chance to take that anywhere, anytime singing to the next level, teaching form.
Shoulders should be flat.
And finesse.
How to do the different pitches, then how to do a chorus together.
Come the spring, these students will join the city's best, performing at the Sing Vocal Arts Festival in May, out of their shell and onto center stage.
We've seen kids who start at the very back and they're very shy, and by the end of the program, they're at the front saying, I want to sing this, I want to do a solo.
Music to the ears of the people who make it possible, as these kids find their voice in more ways than one.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Trade and tariff tensions have been keeping the price of new cars high, which is why more buyers are looking at the used car market if they need a ride.
That is causing used car prices to rise, and when you're shopping for one, you'll also be pitched add-ons that can drive up the cost of your purchase. CTV's Pat Foran has this consumer alert.
With the average price of a new car in Canada over $66,000, according to Auto Trader, more shoppers have turned to the used car market, trying to avoid big loans.
I saved about $30,000 doing so. With that money, I got to put towards the vehicle, and I had money left over for other needs.
With the used market currently tighter than usual, it's keeping prices higher.
When there aren't many cars available, but lots of people are looking, prices go up. It's supply and demand, so buyers need to be strategic in order to find that good deal.
Along with paying more for a used car, you'll face added pressure from some dealers to pay for expensive options you may not need.
That's because many of the products and services are very high profit. In many cases, they make more profit on the add-ons than the vehicle itself.
When signing a contract to purchase, you could be pitched warranty plans, gap insurance, paint and interior protection, rust proofing, VIN etching, tire and rim protection, and anti-theft devices. Don't feel pressured to purchase these options without making sure they're a good value. Many aren't. Before you go to a dealer, you may want to get pre-approved for a loan at your bank and check your credit score. If you agree to a higher interest rate loan, the financing could add thousands to the cost of the car.
New cars, you can find interest rates anywhere from 2 to 5%, whereas used cars, it's typically between 7 to 10%. So that really eats away at any savings you get on the price of the car itself.
Do your research to find a vehicle that's safe, fuel efficient, and dependable. Consumer Reports gave high marks to the 2019 Toyota Corolla, 2018 Mazda CX-5, and 2019 Toyota Camry Hybrid. Also get a Carfax vehicle history report and consider having the car checked by your own mechanic. Taking your time and making the right decisions in advance can save you money down the road. Pat Foran, CTV News.
In sports, the Blue Jays were looking to move closer to clinching the American League East as they continued their series with the Boston Red Sox last night.
This one is in the air to right center. It's deep, and it is gone.
Boston used a 3-run homer in the 8th to make it 7-0, and they held on to win the game 7-1. The Yankees beat the White Sox, so they are now tied with the Jays atop the AL East. The Jays do hold the tiebreaker over the Yankees if they were to finish the season tied. Both teams have 4 games to play. The teams meet again tonight just after 7 p.m.
First and foremost, we're not losing because of umpires, right? That's just like, let's get that out there. We're losing because we're not scoring enough runs. So it's a borderline pitch. I think Vladdy's frustrated. I think a lot of guys are frustrated. But again, man, it's not about a call here or a call there. It's about stringing together good at-bats and stringing together productive innings.
A lot of fans are still optimistic. All 3 potential home games of the Division Series sold out today. Tickets for games 1 and 2 went within 30 minutes. Game 3 sold out in less than 90 minutes. Tickets for the 100 sections went for as high as $618. About $86 was the cheapest in the 500s. There were still some tickets left earlier for the Wild Card Series.
Meanwhile, there is a major change coming to Major League Baseball next season. A new pitch to change the way the game is called.
CTV's Adrian Gabriel has the reaction to the new high-tech challenge system.
But it's a strike, and again, not reviewable. Oh, boy. And then that call goes against them.
In baseball, it's an argument as old as the game itself.
He should not have picked up the dirt.
Strikes called balls.
Wow, Ollie's got to hold him back.
Balls called strikes.
That ball a good 3 inches off the outside corner.
Sometimes leading to close quarter disagreements.
They are yelling at each other like this close, like face to face. The really immature managers are kicking dirt on the ump.
And Billy is not going to go quietly. They've been sort of like Supreme Court justices. There has been no higher court.
That will change as of next season. Major League Baseball confirming that each team will get at least 2 chances to challenge a ball or a strike in the event of human error, using an automated ball strike system known as ABS.
This is a very good day for baseball fans, because the last thing you want is games ended because of a bad call.
ABS technology is also being used in tennis and football. The league says it will take no more than 15 seconds for a challenged pitch to be decided. The commissioner of Major League Baseball saying the move will preserve the integral role of the umpire in the game with the ability to correct a missed call in a high-leverage situation. Some MLB players voted against the new rule, but a committee made up of owners and big leaguers pushed the progressive plan across home plate following years of discussion.
Baseball's been going on since before the First World War, and now they're finally doing this.
The new rule is expected to keep things more amicable here on the field. This year, 60% of all ejections of players and coaches in the majors stemmed from arguments over balls and strikes. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
From baseball to hockey, the Leafs will hit the ice tonight to face off against the Canadiens in preseason action. Toronto coming off a 3-2 overtime loss to the Senators Tuesday. The defeat came after the Leafs beat the Sens in their first exhibition game. Montreal is undefeated with wins over Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. The Leafs and Canadiens are also set to meet when they open their regular seasons next month. Puck drop for tonight's contest set for 7 p.m.
Toronto is set to host 6 FIFA World Cup matches next summer, and now we are getting a look at Canada's mascot for the tournament.
Good morning, Canada. Time to check.
That is Maple the Moose, one of the 3 mascots that will represent the host nations at the tournament. Ours will wear Canada's home kit. The 3 mascots also have their own narrative designed by FIFA, which gives them a unique backstory and playing position on the soccer pitch. Cluth the bald eagle will represent the U.S., while the Zayu the jaguar will help cheer on the Mexican team.
A report now from the team gearing up for a groundbreaking space journey featuring astronaut Jeremy Hansen.
He is one of 4 crew members set to orbit the moon next year, marking the first time a Canadian reaches deep space. CTV's Lauren Stallone has more.
If all goes to plan, 4 astronauts will soon blast off on a mission that's been a long time coming, a return to the moon.
Artemis 2 is about much more than just going back to the moon. It is about the pursuit of excellence.
London-born astronaut Jeremy Hansen addressed Canadians at NASA's Artemis 2 mission news conference Wednesday morning.
You should also be extraordinarily proud that we are represented in the Artemis program. And it wasn't a gift. You earned it.
Hansen says he is hopeful the mission will inspire not just Canadians, but people around the world.
You see this concrete example of what humanity can do, this extraordinary thing, when we set big goals and we work together to achieve them.
Hansen may be the first Canadian heading into deep space, but for now his focus is making sure everything goes according to plan.
We have this great group of simulation trainers who come up with these sort of these evil tests for us. And we'll be sitting in the sim, all our mission controllers are in mission control, and then stuff will just start breaking.
It is clear Hansen has made a big impression on his crewmates.
Jeremy is the, well, it's tough to sit here and talk about your crewmates when you haven't really talked about it before, but he's the creative one on the crew. There's nothing that he doesn't just think about.
The mission is set to take off early next year. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Oh, that's going to be such an exciting moment for Canada when that happens. Right here on Earth right now, we have more rain that is coming down the pipeline, even though we've got a huge dose already this morning.
Yeah, we've had plenty of rain. It is tapering off, so that's the good news. We're going to start to say goodbye to this disturbance that's been with us since yesterday. But I want to talk a little bit about the fall colors. Have you noticed that all of a sudden they're starting to change on the trees around town? And, well, really mainly it's around Algonquin Park and Halliburton. That's where you're going to find the biggest color change so far. It's a great looking weekend to maybe head to that part of Ontario. Here's a look at what you can expect over the next 3 days. Lots of sunshine mixed with cloud at times and very warm temperatures. Bringing it back to the GTA, here's your fall fair forecast as we head into another weekend. Starting tomorrow, conditions really do change out there. So we're enjoying a real nice run of sun beginning tomorrow right through the middle part of next week. And that's not all. Temperatures are above normal, and factor in the humidity. It's going to be feeling like 30 at times. Natalie and Michelle.
I love a good fall fair. Thank you, Lindsay. And that is CTV's News at Noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and on our website, ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
I'm Natalie Johnson. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6 o'clock.